3 weeks after the Red Door archive was placed under independent control, I received an invitation I almost threw away. It was cream-colored, expensive, and embossed with a gold eagle. At the top were the words, "A celebration of the life of Daniel Hayes, my father's younger brother, my Uncle Daniel." He had died 6 weeks earlier after a long battle with cancer. I had attended the private burial, standing with my mother, beneath a cold Colorado sky, while fewer than 20 relatives watched the flag being folded. This invitation was different. It was for a public memorial, organized by Daniel's daughter, my cousin Brooke, 500 guests, corporate donors, local politicians, veterans, press, and at the bottom of the card, asterisk, hosted by the Daniel Hayes Heroes Foundation. I placed the invitation on my father's desk. My mother was sitting across from me. "You should go," she said. "Brooke doesn't want me there. She sent you an invitation. She sent 1 to 3 senators she's never met." Margaret almost smiled. "She still wants you there." To honor Uncle Daniel? To see you. Those were not the same thing. Brooke Hayes and I had never been close. She was 4 years younger than me, the only daughter of my father's only brother. When we were children, she followed me everywhere. Then I joined the military. Our lives separated. Mine became deployments, training, security clearances, missed holidays, and phone calls made from places I could not name. Brooke stayed in Colorado. She married, built a career in nonprofit fundraising, and eventually took over the charitable organization Daniel had created for wounded veterans. In her version of the family story, I was the daughter who left. She was the one who stayed. It became the foundation of almost every argument between us. "You didn't visit him enough," my mother said. "I know. He asked about you." "I know. And you kept telling him you would come after the next hearing." "I know." My mother studied me. There are accusations people make against us. Then there are accusations we already make against ourselves. The second kind are harder to defend. "I was there before he died," I said. "For 27 minutes. I had a federal security detail outside the hospital. That did not make the visit shorter." No, she was right. I had been dealing with Victor Kane, the Atlas investigation, and Marcus's recovery. There had always been something urgent. Urgency is dangerous because it can make every ordinary relationship seem capable of waiting. Daniel had run out of time. My mother pushed the invitation toward me. "Go." I picked it up. There was a handwritten note inside, not from Brooke, from Uncle Daniel. The handwriting was weak, but unmistakable. Asterisk, "Elena, if Brooke turns Cedar Ridge into money, make her remember what it was built for." Asterisk. I read the sentence twice. "What is Cedar Ridge?" I asked. My mother's expression changed. "You don't remember?" "No." She leaned back. "Then you definitely need to go." The memorial was held at Cedar Ridge House. The moment I saw it, I remembered. It stood 40 minutes outside Colorado Springs on 80 acres of pine forest, open meadow and mountain trails. Daniel had purchased the original property when I was still in high school. At the time, it was a damaged lodge with a leaking roof and 6 abandoned cabins. By the time I joined the Army, he had transformed it into something else. A place where military families could recover without hospital corridors. A place where amputees could relearn ordinary routines. A place where widows could bring children for weekends after a funeral. Daniel refused to call it a rehabilitation center. He called it a house where nobody needs to explain why they're tired. Asterisk. More than 200 people attended the memorial by the time my mother and I arrived. Several stopped talking when they saw me. Some recognized me from recent hearings. Others recognized the uniform. I was wearing Army service dress, no red beret, no theatrical arrangement of medals, just my uniform and the name *Hayes. Brooke saw me near the main porch. She was 40 now, with shoulder-length dark hair, an expensive black dress, and our family's blue-gray eyes. For a second, I saw the girl who used to follow me through my grandfather's garage. Then her expression hardened. You wore the uniform. You listed military formal on the invitation. For veterans, I am one. I know what you are. She hugged my mother. She did not hug me. I'm glad you came, Aunt Margaret. Your father mattered to us. Brooke glanced toward me. Some of us showed it while he was alive. There it was, less than 30 seconds, a personal record. I looked toward the lodge instead of answering. Large banners showed photographs of Uncle Daniel throughout his life. Army medic, father, volunteer Nafaransel president. One banner caught my attention. Cedar Ridge. The next chapter, below it was a rendering of a luxury mountain resort, glass buildings, swimming pool, spa, private villas. I stopped walking. What is that? Brooke looked toward the rendering. The announcement is after the memorial. What announcement? We sold Cedar Ridge. My mother turned sharply. You did what? It was Dad's biggest asset. To whom? Meridian Alpine Development. For how much? Brooke smiled faintly. $18.4 million. I stared at the property around us. 9 veterans and their families lived here full-time. Dozens more used the cabins throughout the year. Where are the residents going? They have until the end of the quarter. To go where? They received relocation packages. An elderly man standing nearby looked toward us. He wore a prosthetic leg beneath dark trousers. I recognized him, Master Sergeant Calvin Reese. He had attended my father's funeral. Colonel, he said. Sergeant Major. He looked at Brooke. We got letters. What kind? 30 days. Brooke interrupted. Calvin, we discussed this. You told us the foundation needed to modernize. It does. You didn't say you were selling it. The details weren't finalized. Calvin held up a folded document. This says we have 30 days to clear our cabins. Brooke lowered her voice. Those cabins were always temporary housing. Calvin looked toward the distant building where his wife was helping 2 small children arrange memorial flowers. I've lived here 9 years. I turned toward Brooke. Daniel knew. Of course. When did he approve the sale? Before he died. Show me. Her jaw tightened. This is my father's memorial. And you've hung a resort plan next to his army photograph. Her husband stepped toward us, Ethan Cole. I had met him twice. He managed investment partnerships for the foundation and dressed like the kind of man who believed expensive shoes made every room his. Colonel Hayes, he said, the transaction has been reviewed by counsel. Then you'll have documents. We do. Good. Brooke laughed. You disappear for years, walk in wearing medals, and suddenly you're auditing my father's foundation? No. I looked toward Calvin's eviction notice. I'm asking why the people Daniel built this place for are being removed from it. He built it for veterans. And veterans need services. Services require money, so you sold their home. We turned one underperforming asset into $18 million of capital. Calvin's expression changed when she said, *asset. Brooke noticed too late. She softened her tone. Cedar Ridge helped people for 20 years. The new foundation can help thousands. Where? Nationwide. With what programs? Telehealth. Grants. Leadership outreach. Who manages them? Ethan and I. There it was, not proof, but a shape I recognized. Whenever someone talks more about scale than people, I start reading the paperwork. Brooke turned toward me. Do not ruin Dad's memorial. I haven't said anything publicly. You don't have to. You stand there looking like the Pentagon sent an auditor. Then give me no reason to audit. Her face hardened. You chose the army over this family, Elena. People nearby heard her. She wanted them to. You missed birthdays, Thanksgivings, Dad's surgery. You missed 3 Christmases in a row. All true. And now you think putting on a uniform gives you the right to question the daughter who was actually here. No. I stepped closer. The eviction notices do. The memorial ceremony began at noon. Brooke spoke first. She was good. Very good. She told stories about Daniel fixing bicycles for neighborhood children, about him driving wounded soldiers to medical appointments, about how he slept on a chair beside his wife during her final week of life. People laughed, then cried. For 10 minutes I remembered why Uncle Daniel loved his daughter. Brooke loved him too. That was what made the rest complicated. Bad people are easy. People who love someone and still betray what mattered to them are much harder. Then Brooke began talking about Cedar Ridge. My father believed service meant adapting, she said. He never wanted Cedar Ridge to become a monument to the past. A large screen displayed the luxury redevelopment plan. People shifted in their chairs. Several resident families looked confused. Brooke continued. Before Dad passed, he authorized a partnership that will allow the Elena Hayes Heroes Foundation to serve 10 times more military families. Applause came from the corporate tables, not from the residents. Then Brooke looked toward me. My cousin Colonel Elena Hayes is here today. Every head turned. I did not move. Many people know Elena from recent events. Her smile looked warm. It was not. She represents a different kind of service than Dad did. Pause. Dad stayed. There were quiet reactions. He believed the most important people were often not the ones whose names appeared in headlines. My mother shifted beside me. Brooke continued. He didn't have classified missions. Another pause. He had neighbors. Now everyone understood what she was doing. She was not honoring Daniel. She was trying me in public. He didn't have generals calling his name. He had veterans calling at 2 a.m. because their heat went out. I stood still. She looked directly at me. And when Dad became sick, some people visited when cameras or schedules allowed. A few people looked away. Others were there every day. Brooke placed one hand against her chest. I was there. Applause, not loud, but enough. I could have answered. I could have told them about the operations, the investigations, the lives that depended on me. I could have explained why I missed Thanksgiving. Why I had once gone 11 months without coming home. None of it changed the fact that Brooke had sat beside Daniel during chemotherapy when I was elsewhere. Both things could be true. She had been there, and she was selling his work. After the ceremony, reporters approached her. One asked whether the resort project had Daniel's written approval. Yes, Brooke said. Absolutely. Another asked whether residents had agreed to relocate. The foundation is assisting every family. Calvin Reese moved away before anyone could ask him. I followed. He was standing beside a stone wall engraved with names, 46 names, some living, some dead. What is this? Founding families, he said. Daniel made everyone sign the first summer. Why? He said a place is harder to steal when people know who built it. I looked at the names. At the bottom was a bronze plate. The text was almost covered by ivy. I pulled the leaves away. Cedar Ridge Homeward Trust, not Foundation. Trust. When was this installed? 14 years ago. Did Brooke know? She used to complain because her name wasn't on it. My phone rang. Noah Bennett. I received your message, he said. Do you know anything about the Cedar Ridge Homeward Trust? Give me 30 seconds. I heard typing, then silence. No, Elena, that tone usually costs money. Brooke may have a problem. What kind? The $18 million kind. Cedar Ridge had not belonged to Uncle Daniel for 12 years. The deed confirmed it. Daniel transferred the land to the Cedar Ridge Homeward Trust after the death of his wife. The trust's purpose was extremely specific. Permanent housing, respite care, and family recovery services for injured veterans, surviving military spouses, Gold Star families, and qualifying military caregivers. The property could not be sold for private development unless 80% of eligible resident beneficiaries approved. There were 46 voting beneficiaries. Brooke had collected 3 signatures. All from Foundation executives, none were eligible beneficiaries. How did Meridian's attorneys miss this? I asked Noah. They didn't. What do you mean? The contract references a trust termination. Who terminated it? Brooke. Could she? No. What authority did she claim? A revised trust document signed by Daniel 14 months ago. Did he sign it? Maybe. Maybe? The signature is real. That was not the answer I expected. I looked toward Brooke across the memorial lawn. She was posing for photographs beside the resort rendering. If Daniel signed it, what's the problem? The amendment says Cedar Ridge may be sold only if proceeds remain exclusively dedicated to residential veteran care. That sounds broad enough for her argument. It would. Would? Except the sale contract sends almost $4 million to a newly formed management company. Whose? Noah hesitated. Ethan Cole. Brooke's husband. And the rest. $11 million enters the foundation endowment. That part sounds legal. Except Brooke changed the foundation bylaws 3 months ago to allow executive compensation tied to assets under management. How much? If the sale closes? Noah paused. She and Ethan receive approximately $900,000 in transaction and executive bonuses during the first year. I looked at the eviction notices again. Daniel had not simply built housing. He had built safeguards against exactly this. Brooke found a way around them, or thought she had. Can you stop closing? Temporarily. Do it. You understand she will know you initiated it? Yes. That was more of a warning than a question. Send the injunction. I miss the days when you only found classified bunkers. The line ended. 20 minutes later, Brooke's phone rang. I watched her answer. Her smile vanished. Then she looked across the lawn at me. She came toward me quickly. What did you do? I asked a lawyer to read the deed. You froze the sale. A judge froze the sale. You had no right. Neither did Ethan's management company. Her expression changed. Only slightly, enough. You've been digging through our finances. They're charitable records. Dad authorized every transaction. Then the court will confirm that. This foundation employs 87 people. Then you should want the records clean. You have no idea what it costs to run this. I know it doesn't cost $900,000 in bonuses to evict Calvin. She stopped. Ethan was approaching behind her. Brooke lowered her voice. You came here looking for a fight. I came because Daniel asked to. That surprised her. What? I took out the handwritten invitation. She read the sentence. If Brooke turns Cedar Ridge into money, make her remember what it was built for. Her face became red. He was medicated. He still knew your name. You think one sentence gives you authority over me? No. It's exactly what you always do. What? People give you secret messages, sealed files, special instructions. Her voice began shaking. Dad did it too. I said nothing. He talked about you constantly. Brooke. Elena did this. Elena survived that. Elena is helping soldiers. Elena understands duty. She laughed bitterly. I changed his dressings. I know. I cleaned his house. I know. I sat there when he woke up at 3 a.m. because he thought he was back in Afghanistan. I know. And he left you a secret note. For the first time I understood what this was really about. Not $18 million, not entirely. Recognition. Daniel had spent years admiring the niece, who left while depending on the daughter who remained. That did not justify what Brooke had done. But betrayal almost always has a story the betrayer uses to make themselves feel owed. You deserved his gratitude, I said. Her eyes filled with anger. I deserved more than gratitude. There it is. What? The sentence people say before they turn love into an invoice. She slapped me hard. The sound carried across the patio. People turned. My mother took one step forward. I raised a hand. I was fine. Brooke stared at me, shocked by what she had done. I did not touch my face. Now, I said quietly, We can stop pretending this is about helping veterans. Brooke filed an emergency petition the next morning. She accused me of interfering with Daniel's estate, intimidating foundation donors, and attempting to seize control of Cedar Ridge using military influence. Her filing included a video. Daniel sat in his hospice bed. He looked exhausted. Brooke stood beside him. Her voice asked, "Dad, who do you want to receive everything you own?" Daniel answered, "My daughter." Brooke, "Yes, all of it." He paused, then said, "Everything I own goes to Brooke." The recording ended. It looked devastating, especially after Daniel's private note to me. Brooke's attorney argued that I had misunderstood a dying man's comment and was now trying to override his final wishes. The probate hearing was scheduled for 2 days later. My mother watched the video 3 times. He meant it. "I know. You believe Brooke gets the estate?" "Yes." That surprised her. "Elena, I'm not contesting Daniel's personal will, but Cedar Ridge was not his personal property." That distinction became the center of the case. Brooke inherited Daniel's home, his investments, his vehicles, his retirement accounts, nearly $6 million. But not Cedar Ridge. The trust owned Cedar Ridge. Brooke's attorney tried to merge the two. Emotionally, it was effective. Legally, it was not. Unless Daniel had legitimately terminated the trust, that required beneficiary consent. Brooke claimed he obtained it. 43 signatures were suddenly produced. Calvin Reese denied signing his. So did 11 others. 3 signatures belonged to people who had died before the document date. The hearing changed immediately. Judge Marissa Cole looked toward Brooke's attorney. "Are you representing to this court that these signatures are authentic?" The attorney turned toward Brooke. She whispered something. He looked less confident afterward. "We are reviewing their provenance, Your Honor." Noah stood. "We would like to present the original beneficiary registry." Brooke's attorney objected. Overruled. Calvin took the witness stand. Then Maria Santos, the widow of a Marine killed in 2014. Then Sergeant First Class Andre Lewis, who had lived at Cedar Ridge during rehabilitation. After losing both legs. One after another, they denied authorizing the sale. Brooke watched the people she said she was helping testify against her. Then her attorney played Daniel's video. "Everything I own goes to Brooke." The judge looked toward Noah. "That statement appears clear." "It is," Noah replied. Brooke's face relaxed. Noah continued. "We are not disputing it." Now everyone looked confused, including Brooke. Daniel Hayes intended his daughter to inherit everything he personally owned. The judge frowned. "Then what exactly are we deciding?" "Whether Cedar Ridge was something he owned." Noah placed the original trust deed on the screen. It was witnessed 12 years earlier. The signature was Daniel's. Below it were 46 beneficiary names. The trust was irrevocable. Brooke leaned toward her attorney. He whispered urgently. Noah continued. "Mems Hayes could inherit every dollar in her father's private estate and still have no authority to sell this property." Brooke stood. "This is ridiculous. My father built Cedar Ridge." Judge Cole looked at her. "Sit down. He paid for it." "Miss Hayes, he maintained it for 20 years. Sit." Brooke sat. Her face was flushed. Judge Cole looked toward Noah. "You said you have additional evidence regarding Mr. Hayes' intentions?" "Yes." Noah looked toward me. "The hospice recording." Brooke's attorney stood. "We already presented the hospice recording." "No." Noah connected a secure drive. "You presented 78 seconds of a 17-minute file." Brooke's face changed. She looked toward Ethan. He stopped looking at her. The hospice system automatically backed up patient-directed estate recordings. Brooke had recorded Daniel on a tablet provided by the facility. She downloaded the section she wanted. The original remained on the hospice server. Judge Cole authorized playback. Daniel appeared on the screen. This time the recording began 3 minutes earlier. Brooke was beside his bed. Her voice sounded tired, not cruel. Dad, Ethan says if we don't finalize the foundation structure, the board can challenge everything. Daniel closed his eyes. Let them. You spent your life building it. I built Cedar Ridge. That's what I mean. No. Daniel looked toward her. The foundation raises money. He breathed slowly. Cedar Ridge spends love. Brooke looked away. Love doesn't pay taxes. Daniel almost smiled. No, she leaned closer. If we sell, I can protect everything you created. Protect what? Your legacy. My legacy is sleeping in cabin 4. Calvin Reese began crying quietly in the courtroom. Daniel continued. Maria's children are in cabin 7. His voice weakened, and Andre learned to walk from that porch to the mailbox. Brooke said, You can help thousands instead of 40 people. Then help thousands. With what money? My estate. It isn't enough. $6 million is not enough. There was silence. Brooke looked toward the floor. Daniel understood. You want Cedar Ridge. I want to make the foundation sustainable. You want control. I stayed, Dad. Daniel looked at her. Yes, I was here. Yes, Lena wasn't. My throat tightened. Daniel remained quiet for several seconds. Then he said, Elena not being here does not make the house yours. Brooke began crying. You always defend her. No, I'm your daughter. Yes. She walks in wearing a uniform, and suddenly everyone thinks she understands sacrifice. Daniel's voice became stronger. Do not turn your pain into a punishment for people who did nothing to you. Brooke wiped her face. I gave you everything. I know. What did she give you? Daniel looked toward the window. A reminder that service sometimes takes people away. That is convenient. It is also true. Brooke stood. So what am I supposed to get? Daniel looked at her. My home, my accounts, my investments, my love. Then he paused. But not Cedar Ridge. Her face hardened. Why? Because Cedar Ridge was never supposed to belong to me either. Brooke stared at him. Daniel continued. I held it long enough to give it away. The courtroom was silent. Then came the section Brooke had shown everyone. Dad, who do you want to receive everything you own? My daughter. Brooke? Yes. All of it. Everything I own goes to Brooke. The full recording continued. Brooke's edited version had ended there. Daniel added, And Cedar Ridge is not mine. Brooke closed her eyes. Then Daniel looked directly toward the camera. If someone cuts that sentence off, play the rest. A few people in the courtroom gasped. Daniel smiled faintly. He had known his daughter better than she wanted to believe. Brooke, he said, if you are watching this in a courtroom, then you forgot what I tried to teach you. She was crying now, not dramatically, silently. You are my daughter. I love you. You do not have to earn that. But Cedar Ridge is not your inheritance. He paused. It is your responsibility. The video ended. Nobody spoke. Judge Cole looked at Brooke, then at Ethan, then toward the forged signatures. The court is referring the beneficiary documents for criminal investigation. Brooke's attorney immediately requested recess, denied. Judge Cole continued. The attempted trust termination is void. The Meridian sale was blocked. The management fee was frozen. Every eviction notice was invalidated. Brooke was temporarily suspended as executive director, pending an independent board review. Ethan's management company was ordered to return all transaction advances. Then Brooke looked at me. You won. I stood slowly. No, you took my father's foundation. I don't want it. You destroyed my career. I didn't create the forged signatures. You turned everyone against me. I looked toward Calvin, Maria, and Andre. They were never against you. They were waiting for you to remember they weren't numbers. She laughed through tears. You think you're better than me. No, you left. Yes, I stayed. Yes, and somehow I'm the villain. No, I walked toward her. You're the daughter who got hurt and decided the people your father protected should pay for it. She looked away. That can still change. Her voice became quiet. After this? Yes, how? You stop fighting for ownership of a place you were asked to protect. Brooke did not go to prison. Not then. Investigators later determined Ethan had organized the false beneficiary forms. Brooke knew several signatures were questionable, but prosecutors found no evidence she personally forged them. Her negligence remained serious. Her greed remained real. But the fraud had not been hers alone. Ethan had used Brooke's resentment the same way people had used Aaron's. He told her Daniel undervalued her. He told her the foundation would collapse without the sale. He told her veterans would understand. Most importantly, he told her she deserved to finally benefit from decades spent serving everyone else. Brooke wanted that story to be true, so she stopped checking the parts that were not. The foundation board removed Ethan immediately. Brooke resigned 2 weeks later. She kept her personal inheritance. All $6 million. Daniel had wanted that. Some residents were angry. He should have left her nothing, Calvin said. No, I replied. He loved her. She almost made us homeless. Yes. Why should she still get millions? Because inheritance isn't a criminal sentence. Calvin looked at me. I don't like that answer. Neither do I. Justice feels cleaner when the person who did wrong loses everything. Life rarely works that way. Daniel did not design his will to punish the daughter he loved. He designed the trust to protect everyone else from the worst decision she might make. Those were different things. The board asked me to become chair of Cedar Ridge. I refused. My mother heard about it before I told her. You turned it down? Yes. Why? Because Daniel did not build a protected trust, so another Hayes could become the permanent authority. Who will run it? The residents. That surprised her. We're creating a 7-member board. 4 seats must be held by current or former Cedar Ridge families, and the other 3? 1 medical professional, 1 financial specialist, 1 rotating veteran representative. No colonel? No colonel. My mother smiled. Your father would have approved. Which one? She laughed. For the first time in weeks, the question did not feel heavy. 2 months later, Cedar Ridge looked almost exactly the same. No luxury villas, no spa, no corporate banners. Cabin 4 still needed a new roof. Cabin 7's heater made a terrible noise. The foundation could not help 10,000 people. It helped the people standing in front of it. Sometimes scale is not the measure of value. Brooke returned on a Thursday afternoon, alone. No attorney, no Ethan. She stood beside the stone wall of names for nearly 10 minutes before anyone approached her. I was sitting on Daniel's porch with Calvin. She wants you, he said. She knows where I am. You are extraordinarily irritating when people need emotional support. That is why I'm not a therapist. He went inside. Brooke eventually walked toward the porch. She sat in Daniel's old chair. Neither of us spoke. Then she handed me an envelope, divorce papers. You left Ethan. He left first. I'm sorry. No, you're not. I'm sorry you're hurting. She considered that. Better. She looked across the meadow. I hated you. I know. I still do sometimes. I know. Dad admired you. He admired you too. Not the same way. No. She looked at me. I wanted him to say he was proud of me the way he said it about you. He probably did. No. He told me. Her expression changed. What? The last time I visited. That 27-minute hospital visit Brooke had used against me. Daniel spent 12 of those minutes talking about his daughter. He told me Brooke had kept the foundation alive after his first surgery. That she learned every resident's children's names. That she could raise money from people who would not give him 5 minutes. That Cedar Ridge survived because Brooke understood things he never did. Why didn't he tell me? I don't know. Why didn't you? Because I thought you knew. She laughed bitterly. That's this family's favorite mistake. Assuming people know, Assuming silence carries meaning. Assuming love is obvious. Maybe Atlas had not invented that problem. Maybe intelligence agencies merely professionalized something families had done forever. "I'm sorry," I said. This time she believed me. Brooke looked toward the stone wall. "What happens now?" "To Cedar Ridge." To me, that part isn't mine to decide. I don't know who I am without the foundation. Then this might be the first time you get to find out. She sat quietly, then asked, "Did Dad really leave you nothing?" I smiled. "He left me one handwritten sentence. That sounds like him. And a box." "What box?" "Calvin says it's in cabin 4. Brooke looked curious. "Are you going to open it?" "Eventually." "You still do that annoying thing where you wait until everyone is ready. Usually until someone starts shooting." For the first time since Daniel died, Brooke laughed. Not much, but enough. The box from cabin 4 was an old green military footlocker. My name was written across the top. Elena Hayes beneath it. "Only after Cedar Ridge is safe." Asterisk. Daniel had known the property would be challenged. He had also known that if I opened the box too early, I would treat the contents as another mission, instead of dealing with Brooke. My uncle had apparently learned how my mind worked. Inside were ordinary things first. Photographs, letters from my father, an old medic patch, a broken compass. Then I found a surveillance photograph. My brother Aaron stood outside Cedar Ridge. The timestamp was 4 months earlier. Before his disappearance from federal custody in Tama. He was speaking to a woman, older, silver hair. I did not recognize her. Brooke entered the cabin behind me. "What did you find?" I showed her the photograph. Her expression changed. "You don't know her?" "No. Elena. She came here several times." "When?" "Before Dad died." "Who is she?" "Dad called her Catherine." "Catherine what?" "I don't know." "What did Aaron want from her?" Brooke looked uncertain. They argued about some room. My body became still. "What room?" I didn't hear everything. "Brooke." He kept saying the number 7. Room 7, the same room connected to Aaron's disappearance. I turned the photograph over. Daniel had written something on the back. Asterisk, if Aaron ever remembers her, do not let him go. Alone. Below it was a name, Catherine Vey, and an address. Not Colorado. Virginia. Brooke looked at me. "Who is she?" "I don't know." Then I noticed something beneath the photograph. A military identification card. The woman was much younger in the picture, her rank. Major General. Her assignment, Behavioral Continuity Directorate. Asterisk. Across the bottom, Daniel had written 3 words. Raven 7, Mother. My phone rang. "Oh, no number." I answered. No one spoke, then Aaron's voice came through. "Elena." "Aaron. Where are you?" "I don't know. Are you hurt?" "No. Is Catherine Vale with you?" Silence then. "How do you know that name?" Daniel knew her. Aaron's breathing changed. "Elena, listen to me." "I'm listening." "Room 7 isn't another Atlas room." "What is it?" It existed before Atlas. My hand tightened around the photograph. "Who built it?" A woman spoke somewhere near him. Aaron stopped. "Aaron?" His voice became a whisper. "She's coming." "Who?" "Catherine." "What does she want?" "You. Why?" "Because Dad didn't choose you to become Raven 6. "What are you talking about?" "He changed your designation." "From what?" Aaron hesitated, then said Raven 7. The line went dead. Brooke stared at me. "What does that mean?" I looked at the photograph of Major General Catherine Vale. For 7 episodes, I had believed Raven 6 was the secret buried inside my childhood. Now I understood. It may have been the identity my father gave me to hide something worse. Not from Victor Kane, not from Helen Ward, not even from Atlas. From the woman who created Room 7. And somewhere in Virginia, my brother was waiting inside it.